Alright, so I figured I would do it before and after. This car needs everything. Bought it for $250. I gotta keep reminding myself it's a $250 car, which is pretty funny. Because it runs really good most of the time. And so, came with new tires on it. I mean, other than the front end being messed up, I didn't do bad for $250. That is what you call a real hood. A real hood. That's a real hood. So anyway, yeah, about to change the plugs. About to attempt to change the plug wires, which need to be done desperately, but I don't know if they're going to get done today. The air cleaner, it's missing. I have one that came off another one because I've had about 3 of these cars, but I might be going on here today. And then I have this other problem, right? So the exhaust, oh man, the exhaust has this wonderful, oh, if you can see that, but there's a hole right there in the exhaust, and I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it in half, and I'm gonna put me a flex pipe on it, and hope that it's good enough for it to pass inspection. Cause I know a lot of other things ain't. And that's gonna happen today. And then what else am I doing today? The belt, that's good. It's a little shiny, but it's good. I got a vacuum leak somewhere that I need to figure out. As you can see, I done plugged some of them off. I got that hose going over there. And the cooling fan. I'm gonna take that out of here and fix that too. Actually, I just bought the motor for it. So I'm gonna put the motor in the actual cooling fan. I gotta take that bolt out, and there's a couple at the bottom. And then I'm gonna rig it up so that it's on all the time. Because when you get in traffic with these Oldsmobiles, they tend to run hot. At least the last few of them I did. Definitely did. Now I know there's a temperature sensor on here. And I done unplugged it. Because I was going to kind of hot wire it to work. And FYI, if you ever have a car that runs hot, and you need to figure out how to keep it from running hot, and that fan ain't coming on, the easiest way to make it not run hot is to take this out, unplug it from the temperature sensor, which is right there. Normally it's inside the block somewhere. Unplug it from the temperature sensor, and you're going to cross those two wires right there. Now that's on a GM or mainly American cars. I'm pretty sure you can do it with foreign cars too, but what that does is it starts that electric fan up. And if that fan doesn't start working when you jump those two over, and you can check your relays, as I've already done, or you could take a test light and put it on the wires going to the fan. And if that light comes on, if you jump that, the light should come on. And if it don't come on, then you know you have other issues somewhere, possibly a relay. But on this one, the light came on, the relay clicked on. You can hear the relay click when it does its thing, and nothing. So I'm about to eliminate that problem altogether. And what else? Oh yes, this wonderful radiator. I would open that cap, but it's still hot. So it's got a whole bunch of gunk in the radiator. This is something else that annoys the hell out of me. Now, I've had 138 cars. This is number 138. Out of all 138, about 9 or 10 of them had that radiator stuff that you plug up the holes with. Well, that stuff also clogs up everything else. So if you ever have a car that has a radiator leak or any sort of coolant leak, do not put that stuff in there, because if you do, you will regret ever investing in such ridiculousness. The best way to clog a leak is the old-fashioned way, with pepper. You actually take some cooking pepper, or some pepper that you use on food, and you pour that in the radiator, put a little bit in the radiator, and for some reason, I don't know what it does, but it works. It clogs the leak right up, and it won't clog the rest of everything up. I've heard people say bread works. I haven't tried bread. I've heard of a few different things, but pepper I do know works because I've done it before. And actually, the guy that bought that truck from me, he's still driving it with that same radiator. I don't know how, because it was years ago. But what else? Yeah, so don't buy that gunk stuff, because that shit don't work. It's not gunk, but it's what's the name of that? Not gunk. What is the name of that stuff? I don't know, but it's like copper sealing or something. It don't work. It clogs up everything, and I guess maybe after the car cools down, when I'm making the video on everything after I'm done, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. But that's a new radiator in here. That radiator ain't even old. And then when you pull that cap off, it's just a bunch of stuff sitting underneath the cap, making it so that cooling bottle right there doesn't fill up the radiator when it starts running hot. But yeah, just figured I would get that off my chest, because that's one of the things that annoy me the most. And then people bring their cars to me to fix them, and I have to try to explain to them that flushing this system after you put that stuff in there requires changing heating coils and everything else, because this stuff is jammed up, And what happens is, on some cars, not all cars, some cars, it'll get down in the heating coil, and it'll sit in the bottom. Literally in the bottom of the heating coil. Now you have two lines going to your heating coil. I don't think you can see them on here, but that's one of the lines. But there's two lines, and one of them is the top, and one of them is the bottom. Normally, some of them are both on the bottom, some of them are both on the top. But if yours is both on the top, then more than likely you're clogged. It's just what it is. So yeah, been through this a few times. Also, this car has a transmission problem, or had a transmission problem. I accidentally fixed it by breaking it. So it was, and I don't know why nobody else has had this problem, but it's got an electronic overdrive, which is right here. That plug that's unplugged. Yeah, so that electronic overdrive got stuck in overdrive. And so I ended up trying to make it home in traffic, and every time you put it in gear, it just cut off. But when I got back here eventually, I parked the car, it shut off, of course, because it was stuck in overdrive, literally stuck in gear. And I can't be the only person that's had this problem, so I don't know why there's nobody that's done a video on this. But I pulled up, and when I bought the car, that was unplugged. So I plugged it back in, and the overdrive worked like it should and everything. I went on, did what I had to do, and on the way back, that's when I was having the problem. So I got back here after the transmission was locked up and unplugged it, waited for it to cool down, and I have been going everywhere ever since, because now, although the overdrive doesn't work, the transmission isn't stuck in overdrive. I don't know what they were thinking when they did that, because normally there's a module that goes there. On the older version of this transmission, it's got a vacuum module that sits right here. And it's like a little round thing. It's round about that big. And it's got a little vacuum line that goes like somewhere up here. So, yeah, I'm thinking about doing a vacuum situation, but I think that it goes to the torque converter. So if it goes to the torque converter, that means I got an electronic torque converter, and there's no way that that's gonna work. So I'll just leave it 3-speed for now. I mean, I still get okay gas mileage, and it still runs down the road just fine. And also I'm about to change the oil. It's kind of random, I guess. Yeah. So I will make another video after and I need to change the battery, don't I? Yeah, I'll make another video after I done did all of the things that I'm going to do and stuff of that nature. And yeah.